talking more liposuction, fat transfer, how to get rid of that big belly without getting a tummy tuck. These are all things that our patients are doing on a daily basis. If you have not joined our private Facebook group, you should definitely get on there. We have hundreds of our previous patients that are there sharing their stories and information. So join our private Facebook group for the inside information on and follow up. All these pictures that you'll see behind us are actual individuals who are in our group and who are sharing their information, sharing their stories, and it's an opportunity for those of you who may be interested in the procedure but not quite sure, what you want to do, not quite sure what's possible. You're curious as whether it's going to be successful for you and your body type, whether it's a certain age or a certain size or whatever the case. You're going to find somebody that's very similar to you within this group, and you can follow them and see how their results have gone. You can, not only that, you can communicate directly with them. So if you haven't joined our private Facebook group, please jump on the private Facebook group, and you'll thank me later. What's up, Dana, Sabrina, Madeline, Madelia, Jasmine, Beatrice, or Patrice? What's up? Say what's up to my Instagram following, Maggie, Labreezy. You guys have some weird names. Portugracia, Monica. What's up, Mr. Billion? All right. Official candy collections? All right, cool. Well, if you guys have any questions, concerns, any thoughts, we specialize in larger volume liposuction, so larger individuals. There's no BMI restrictions. You can see, we get rid of these bellies, these pannus, these parts that are folding over, and there's no tummy tuck. None of the pictures you'll see behind me involve tummy tuck. No big scars, no tough recoveries. It's something that you can have, in an afternoon, and you can, you're gonna go right back to your hotel or your house and rest. And some people are able to get up and walk around and go to meals afterwards. It's not debilitating like many of you may believe. And certainly those of you who, just because your belly hangs over, it doesn't mean that you need a tummy tuck. And I want that to be exceedingly clear, that none of the patients are getting tummy tucks, and you don't have to get a tummy tuck. So just because you speak to one individual, one plastic surgeon, and he tells you that you have to get a tummy tuck, don't believe him. You don't have to. It's just an opinion. And if you go speak with someone like myself, who I have other options, the reason why you weren't offered liposuction only by this plastic surgeons is that they don't know how to do what I do. They don't have the techniques, the skills. They don't even, it's not even an idea in their mind that it's possible. They don't believe it's possible. So they don't even try. And I've been doing this for over 15 years, done well over 15,000 procedures, and I've been able to test my techniques, and we've been getting results, consistent results for a long time now. And you'll see, follow our page, go to our private Facebook group so you can speak with the individuals directly. Okay, how long is a quote good for? Typically our quotes are good for, I think, 90 days, three months. What's up, Stacy? Okay, Breezy G. How much should you gain before you fat transfer, or before you transfer fat from the stomach to the body? Do you have to gain only lean fat, or just eat to gain? So Breezy G, obviously you're in a situation on your own. Not everybody has this issue where they don't have enough fat. So if you don't have enough fat, then gaining weight is an option for individuals who want to get fat transfer, but don't have the available fat to remove in order to transfer. So gaining, 10, 15 pounds, this obviously depends on the individual, but we're just trying to expand the fat stores that you already have. So the fat cells are not reproducing when you're gaining weight. You already have fat cells somewhere, whether that's on your stomach, that's the most common, the thighs, the waistline, the arms. So these are all different areas where people can take fat from. Now, you just have to realize that if you're small and you don't have fat and you don't have, these fat stores available, readily available, then gaining the weight is an option. It's, obviously if you have the fat already, you don't need to gain weight. So let me be clear, you don't have to gain weight for the fat transfer if you already have the fat cells, okay? Just to be clear. Booty, not body. Oh, she's correcting her word. Okay. All right. Silently adorable hair. You say you got your quote in July. Look, this is not my territory. I don't deal with this kind of stuff. You got to call our office. The girls are the ones that deal with all the rules that we have. So if you got your quote in July, give the office a call, send us some new pictures, we can confirm everything, and everything's a go. So let's not try to make a big deal out of it. Okay, Stacy says her belly was hanging over and she did not have a tummy tuck. It's quite amazing because it's counterintuitive to a lot of individuals, especially when you have this belly that's hanging, and just because you can feel it, it's hanging, you have looser skin, and so for someone to tell you that, hey, we're gonna suck all that fat out of you and your skin's gonna retract back and it's gonna look good, for many of you that's counterintuitive and it doesn't make sense, and you believe the bullshit that the plastic surgeons tell you that you're gonna have an empty sack of skin afterwards. If you believe that stuff, then you're not even gonna listen to what I'm saying. But if you see that there's an inkling, a shadow of doubt that is possible, just look at the pictures. Really, you don't have to believe me. Go look at the pictures. Go communicate with the individuals on our private Facebook group, and the information's there. It's just a matter of you absorbing the information, you understanding it, and realizing what's actually possible for you. Now, everybody's a little bit different, right? So everybody has different potential, and your potential may be amazing potential, and your potential might be very limited based off of your specific situation. Now, how well the skin tightens up afterwards is going to be dependent on the individual. So if you have a bunch of stretch marks and really loose skin with the collagen it's degrading, maybe you're older, the potential is limited, but it's not gone, it's limited. So your expectations just have to be realistic with what is possible for you. When we look at the pictures, you can see these individuals, but you got to realize that's not you. Even though you might look like them, it's not you, because you don't really know what the skin quality is. You don't know everything, and nobody's exactly the same, so we never know. With that said, you're going to see some incredible, mind-blowing results that it's unbelievable. I see some of these things and it blows me away, and I've done this for a long time, and I'm the one that's doing it, and it still blows me away at what's even possible for these individuals. So in some way, you just have to take the risk. You just have to go for it. You have to be the person that you're so sick of the shit that you have right now. You're so sick of dealing with it. You're so sick of covering it up. You're so sick of hiding from everybody and not showing stuff because you're embarrassed. You're so sick of feeling bad about yourself that, you know what, any improvement's going to be better, and it's worth it. And if you're in that zone where you're ready to transform your life, this procedure works miracles. But you have to be the right individual, and you have to be willing to change. Because if you're not willing to change, see, this is where I've seen the thing that messes up the whole situation is these individuals. And I just had this patient that called me last night, or sent me a message saying that she had her procedure like a year ago, and she gained 25 pounds a year ago, and I'm like, man, I talk about this all day long. If you don't change your lifestyle, it's not going to work. If you don't work, it doesn't work. Okay? So stop thinking that this is like some shortcut to, you can continue to eat like shit and then get, have results and have this awesome body. It doesn't work like that. This is the real world here. And I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not here to tell you a bunch of nonsense and say that, oh yeah, just give me your money and you're going to have an hourglass figure. You can eat whatever you want the rest of your life and everything's great. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. The people behind me, they change their life, but it happens before you start the procedure. Now, some people do it afterwards, but you have to start changing your mind and changing the way that you think and changing your lifestyle choices, because changing the lifestyle choices is something that people, they struggle with. But it's not really hard to do. It's the discipline that people lack. It's the motivation that people lack. So when things get difficult, when they get challenging, when you have cravings and things of that nature, some people, they fold under the pressure and they go back to the old style. They go back to their own habits. And when you go back to the own habits, you just recreate the same bullshit problems that you hate right now. So if you're not going to change your lifestyle, don't waste your money, don't waste your time. I don't even want to talk to you. It so pissed me off when this patient called me and said they gained 22 pounds. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to talk to you. I'm certainly not going to do liposuction on you again. If you can't control yourself, then why would I go through all the effort? Why, I'm trying to change people's life, and I don't have to do this anymore. I want to do this because I help people. I like helping people. I like changing people's lives. So I don't want to deal with people that aren't ready to change. Now, clearly there's going to be people sliding under the radar, and they come in here and they think that this is just to make them look good, and they want to take advantage of the situation because we're getting the results that we get. But the problem is that I'm telling you, it doesn't work in the long run unless you do the work, unless you stick to the habits, you change your lifestyle. Now, clearly, all these people behind me, they're not. No one's 100%, right? So I'm not saying that you have to be 100%. You change everything and eat vegetarian the rest of your life. I'm not saying that. You'll figure it out. But I can tell you for one thing is for sure, that if you continue doing the same things that got you to your situation today, you will recreate the same problems. It's just a matter of time. Maybe it takes 2 years, maybe it takes 5 years, but you're going to recreate the same problems because it's simple. If you're eating foods that is causing your body to store fat, the fat's going to go somewhere. If we remove the fat from the stomach, now we never remove 100%, but if we remove, like, say 90% of the fat in your stomach, you still have a little bit there. So if you gain weight, it's possible for that area to get thick, but more likely you're going to get thicker in the areas where you have an abundance of fat. And that might be your butt, that might be your thighs, that might be your arms, that might be your face, it might be your boobs. Wherever you carry the fat, that's where you're going to gain weight. The fat does not move around. Let's just squash this myth right here. Fat does not move around. Now, if it were to move around, let me just tell you this. Why would you need a fat transfer when you could I'll just push the fat back here. Let's just push it. It doesn't move. It never moved. It never ever moved. Okay, the fat is stable. It stays right where it is. So when you gain weight, it doesn't just go somewhere. The fat is already there. It's already been there. It's been there your whole life. It doesn't change. You don't gain more weight. You don't all of a sudden get a bigger thighs or bigger butt. The fat was there. And you gain your weight proportionately through all the fat cells. So that means that if you have more fat cells on one particular area and those fat cells expand, you'll see exponentially bigger. It's just a numbers game. It's just a numbers game. So with liposuction, we reduce the numbers and it makes it easier for you. So when you have little fluctuations, you'll notice less of a change in the area that we treated. But the key to getting the best possible results is changing your lifestyle. And you have to start living as if you are a thinner individual. So you have to start asking, the questions you start asking yourself is, what would a thinner person eat? What would a thinner person do for exercise? How do I need to change my life? And the more you start thinking with these questions and start asking yourself how you can improve, how you can change, you'll start figuring it out. It's really not that complex. It's really not that difficult. You just have to want to change. And that's the key. It's the desire. If you don't have a desire to change, if you have a desire to stay the same, nothing will work for you. Nothing will work. Because just saying, I want to change, but not having the actions, you got to have the follow-up. You got to have the follow-up. And this is something that you're going to struggle with in every other aspect of your life. If you don't have the discipline to do simple things, then you're not going to have the discipline to do the big things. This is the same thing with money. People who have a little bit of money will never learn how to handle large amounts of money if they don't handle the small amounts of money first. This is simple. It's everything else in your life. If you can control what goes in your mouth and control those urges, I believe you can control everything else in your life. It's a simple discipline. It's the same discipline. So it's like a muscle. You have to work out that muscle. You have to train that muscle. That's why I do so many different things that require testing my discipline. Whether it's getting up every morning to go work out or go run, I'm testing myself, I'm pushing my limits, trying to figure out what my limits are. And I'm figuring out my body just like you personally have to figure out your body, because your body is different than my body, than their body, than anyone else's body. So it's different. You got to figure it out. All right, let's see a couple questions here. Okay, Stacy's offering her encouragement or testimony. She said, please contact her. Stacy's had a few procedures now. Okay, Dominic says he's had a consultation a few months back in March. That's a lot more than a few months back. So look, if you've had a consultation and you're ready to move forward, it's not that difficult. We already have your basic information. We would just need updated photos, just confirm that things haven't changed dramatically for you, and then we go ahead and move forward. Okay, I'm so ready. Being in Facebook group gave me so much more motivation that I'm putting my business aside a little, but and got a work at home job so I can get my procedure paid for. Good to hear. There's always ways to do things, and I love to see when people get creative with getting what they want, because there's so many people that defeat themselves by saying, "Oh, I can't afford that," or "Oh, I can't do that because," and they make up some bullshit excuse that will stop them. That's your barrier. That's your individual barrier, because clearly other people don't have the same barriers. So it's your barrier. Whatever you believe is stopping you, that's what you need to attack. That's what you need to start thinking about. If money is the issue, then you got to start figuring out how to get more money. And there's lots of ways to do it nowadays. You can have a side business. You can go get an extra job. You can work overtime. You can sell stuff. You can decrease what you're spending and save the money that you're not spending now. I mean, there's lots of different ways to do this. Just get creative, and maybe it's a combination of all of those things, and it all comes together. But if you tell yourself that you can't do it for whatever reason, any reason that comes behind I can't do it, because anything that comes behind that is just an excuse. Because you will figure it out if that's what you really want with your life, right? If you tell yourself, hey, I want to have a family, then somehow you're going to figure out how to have a family. When you're a kid, you'll figure out how to have a family, and you'll figure out how to support them. The weird thing is that most people only live up to the bare minimum of their expectations, and when you have low expectations, you live right up to that bare minimum, and then you'll stop. What you have to start doing is realize that you don't really have a limit. There is no limit. You have the potential to be anything you want, to make as much money as you want, to get anything in this world that you want physically. Everything is there for you. All you have to do is realize that you can go get it. You got to go out and get it. There's money out there. Go get it. All right, let's see. We got some YouTube. How much weight can you lose if you do liposuction? Chris. Okay, so clarification here. This is not a weight loss procedure. So don't think about any numbers. You will never hear me talking about any numbers of weight loss that this person lost. I mean, that's not never. But these people, they talk about it randomly, but weight loss is simply a consequence. It's a consequence of doing liposuction. It's not the purpose of doing liposuction. Liposuction is get the shapes. We can create the shapes, the hourglass figure. We can make that belly go away so you have a flatter belly. And then fat transfer, we can add volume, right? So it's not a weight loss procedure. It's a changing of the shape. And as a consequence of removing the fat and creating those shapes, there may be a weight loss, but I don't care what the weight loss is. If you have an hourglass figure and didn't lose any weight, that's cool with me, and it should be cool with you as well. These girls, she probably lost some weight, but what I'm suggesting is that you should continue with your weight loss journey, or your lifestyle changes, whatever I really don't like the word diet. It's a word that I utilize because people understand what that, but diet to me is like a short-term thing that I'm doing this to just get the numbers off the scale. But that's not what I suggest. You have to change your lifestyle because it's got to be. So imagine you're on a slope, right? So right now, if you're on a steady gain, you're gaining weight slowly over the years, and every year you gain a little bit more. So what I'm suggesting is create so it's a slow loss, or even if you get to your perfect weight, whatever that is, then stay even. Don't gain weight. So I'm at a position in my life, my body style where I like where I'm at. So I'm not looking to gain weight. I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm just looking to maintain. And dude, maintaining is so easy. It's so easy once you get there. It's like a piece of cake. It's almost difficult for me to gain weight. So I've adopted habits that keep me at this level playing field, and life is easy for me. And so I hear these people with their struggles, all this, oh, it's so difficult and it's such a challenge. Every time you go to eat, it's a challenge. And those challenges are all in your head. It's really not that difficult. It's not difficult to make the right choices. It's not difficult to eat the right foods. It's not difficult to get up off the couch and exercise, whatever that means to you. Maybe you can't walk or you can't run or you can't lift weights, but you can go to the pool, you can swim, you can do biking, you can do other things that are perhaps less mobile. However, once we get you smaller, once that belly is gone, you're going to be a lot more mobile. It's your potential just widens greatly. It just completely expands, and you have a whole new world to deal with. Okay. Stacy, she's talking. Okay, can you have 360 after a tummy tuck? Absolutely. So, I'm obviously, I'm not a advocate for getting a tummy tuck. And one of the reasons why I'm an advocate, not an advocate for a tummy tuck is because I deal with a lot of patients who have had a tummy tuck previously and they're unhappy with the results and now they're coming to get their shape. Tummy tuck is simply cutting away the skin. They'll do some liposuction, but it's never enough. Never. So what that means, the consequence of not doing enough liposuction is you still have a square shape. So they cut the skin and then they sew you up. So now you have a huge scar. If they didn't pull the skin together properly, you have a bulge on the outside. They call that dog ears. And if they don't take enough liposuction on the side, you have a square shape. There's no curve. So what I can do with the liposuction is we literally remove the fat, physically remove the fat, and that will lean things out. So even though you may have a flat belly, they leave a thick layer of fat. It's a thick layer. You can be a judge of yourself, but they leave a thick layer there. So we take that away, which makes it substantially smaller right off the bat. And then when we take the stuff from the sides, and we create that hourglass figure, then we sweep around the lower back, we create that lower back, that arch that you have in the lower back makes your butt pop out. And this all just happens naturally with the 360 lipo. It's really an amazing procedure. So absolutely, if you've had a tummy tuck, we can still help you. And not only can we help you, but the results are phenomenal after liposuction and you've had a tummy tuck previously. Okay, this is true. That's right. I speak the truth here. And some of you may not like the truth, and that's just the way it is. Some people like to be sugar coated. They like to be told that everything's going to be great all the time. And, we live in a world of, rainbows and fairy dust and unicorns and shit like that. But you're not going to get that here. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the way it is. And, I'm going to be honest with you. So when I'm honest with you and I tell the truth, it makes it easier for you to make decisions because you don't have to start questioning, well, is he just exaggerating? Is it really possible? Like, this is phenomenal. We just did this young lady, we did her second procedure. So this first picture that you're seeing right now is when she only had the front of her abdomen treated. It was only the front of the abdomen. So the procedure that we did just this last week, we treated her sides. So her sides right here, which brought in the hourglass figure. So right now you're seeing only the side view, but from the back or the front, she's got a very square shape in this picture. But after our procedure that we did earlier this week, she's now has an hourglass figure, and this big booty here, a big portion of that is lower back. And I know this is an issue for many, 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 many women, and you believe, as she did, you believe that this butt is actually all butt. But the problem is that this is like the middle of her back right here. And if you have fat all the way up in the middle of your back, that's not your butt anymore. It's the fat that just grew and expanded and like it's like engulfed and swallowed up your other features. So with the liposuction, we can take that away. When we take this away, it literally scoops out the lower back there and creates the arch that will then make it appear that the butt's popping out further and that the butt's defined and it's right where it should be, and it's not up in the lower back, it's not going out into the hips. And so you can see with her, she's got this fullness in the hips here. So if you saw her from the front, she'd be out like this, right? And so when we take this down, now she's got elongated curves. And that's what we're trying to go after, is to create these long curves. So if you are shorter and you're full in the waistline, it makes it look so your torso is shorter and your waist is up higher, which means that you're wearing your pants up higher, so it looks like your torso is like this. So if we elongate the curves and lower your waistline, all of a sudden you have an elongated torso, and an elongated torso gives the illusion that you're longer, that you're leaner. It's an illusion. We're obviously not making you taller. We're not making, but it's an illusion. We're creating the illusion by removing the fat. What's the most fat then that can be taken out at once? A lot. Look, don't worry. Don't just stop worrying about the numbers, like how much weight you're going to lose, how much fat we're going to get off. Just look at the results. And if the results are cool with you, then just let me do my magic. That's all you got to do. Just let me do my magic. Just trust. And things happen. Okay, Rebecca says, I've become way more conscious of what I put in my body. When you invest in yourself, it's like time to hold yourself accountable now. Okay, so when you take all your hard-earned money and you invest in a procedure like this, that then gets you to where you want to be physically, once we get you there, you have to protect that. And you protect that by eating the right foods. Because now, even if you thought before that you're worthless or you had low self-esteem or whatever the case, now it's valuable. You just spent a bunch of money on yourself. You invested in yourself. So now you don't want to waste what you just invested. So protect it by eating the right foods and doing the right things. This is Rebecca right here. And Rebecca is my wife loves Rebecca. Rebecca has her own business, and she sells stuff. She does these lives, and she sells jewelry and things of that nature, and she does these lives every day. So I know that by looking better, those of you who have to have your public figures, you gain confidence, and when you gain confidence, it's like the potential that you have just exponentially expands when you have the confidence to do more, because when you do more, you have more potential, and therefore you get more. So if you're able to do more, you're going to get more. This is the way the world works. This is the law of attraction. When you're putting positive things out there, positive things come back to you. But you have to start actually getting out and doing these things, and that actually do things. Many people, you require that confidence. Instead of hiding and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do that because so and so is going to be there and I don't want them to see me," or I don't have any good clothes that'll fit right, or you're embarrassed, or whatever the case. Most people will start to make excuses for why they can't live their life. So I said one of these quotes a few weeks ago, and Granville really picked up on it. He really liked it, where I said, so start saying yes to living your life. Start saying yes to things instead of saying no. Many of us will say no right off the bat without even thinking about it, because it's easy to say no. It's so easy to say no. Then you can stop thinking. No action needs to be taken. Nothing needs to be done. No planning needs to be occurred. Nothing. You don't need to do anything. When you say no, it's so easy. It's hard to say yes. It's hard to start living your life. It's because then you have to start doing things. You have to figure out how to make shit happen. You actually have to get off your butt and start moving. You have to figure stuff out. You have to start thinking. This is not easy. And this is the reason why people always, it's so easy to say no. It's easy. They said that kids hear the word no like 20,000 times by the time they're like 5 or 6, and only yes 2,000 times. That's right. These are statistics that it blows me away, right? If you are not used to hearing the word yes, you're more likely to say the word no because it's easier. As we just discussed, it's easier to say no. So if you want to start living your life, you want things to start coming to you, you want people to start, doing more things with you. When someone asks you to do something, say yes. They ask you to go somewhere, say yes. And just figure it out. Figure out how you can do it. You get some opportunity to, go spend time or go do some activity or, see some people you haven't seen in a long time. When you get these opportunities, just say yes and then figure it out. And it's that easy. And you know when you have to figure stuff out, it's usually not that difficult. My wife does this all the time, where she'll say, no, no, we can't do that because we don't have a babysitter. Well, okay, let's say yes and then figure it out. Let's make some phone calls. And then say we made 20 phone calls, we couldn't find anybody, not one person can babysit, there's no other options. We can't, whatever, people have different options, right? So we had no options. At that point, then you can succumb. Say, okay, maybe we can't do that. All right, cool, but at least you tried, and you'll probably feel better about it. But it also initiates habits. So next time, you tried, right? So next time, you know that you can try. You know it's not going to take that much effort. So just go through the efforts and try. And if you try, you'll start realizing that things start happening for you. They start happening because you're actually doing. So it's about making the decision, say yes, and then just try. Okay, do you do consultations online since I'm out of state? Yes, all of our consultations are virtual at this point. Okay, Michelle Barrientos, still wishing one day. So Michelle, what I'm going to suggest is stop wishing and make shit happen. Stop wishing and just make it happen. You have to will it to happen. You have to force things in your life. If you want things bad enough, you have to start pushing yourself, pushing those around you, make it happen. If I'm just saying, I wish, I mean, you might as well just be begging for money on the street. That's all you're going to do. You're like, please, I wish, give a handout, give me something. That doesn't work. I mean, maybe it works for some people, but it's certainly not my style, and it's not what I would suggest. But there's lots of different ways, and you got to start getting creativity, your imagination. That's where the intelligence is. That's where the genius is. And we all have it. And you'll see it in little kids way more often. The kids still have their imagination. They still have that ability to think and create and come up with new ideas. As adults, it's like, we got stuck in this box in school, and they said, nope, you got to stay in line. As soon as you get out of line, they're like, whack. When I was a kid, they were whacking us, right? But you got to stay in line, only do what you're supposed to do. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you get punished. So, as adults, we've been taught to just fall in line and do the same thing that everybody else does. But kids are different. They're creative. They start thinking of different ways that they can accomplish things. And until they're told no, they believe it's possible. And with the things that I'm doing here, I was just never told that it wasn't possible. That's the reason why I came up with these techniques and the ability to do what we're doing, because why no one else is doing it. Nobody else is getting these kind of dramatic results. Nobody else is taking that belly that's hanging over and making it go away completely. Nobody else is doing that. That's why you guys are coming here. I get it. I understand. But you just have to go beyond the normal and beyond the what is expected, and start thinking about what is possible. Not what I'm supposed to do, not what's supposed to happen, but what is possible. And then let's start just pushing the limits. Let's start creating and start figuring out ways to make things happen in your life. Because when you start getting creative, you'll figure out different ways, and there's different possibilities. Maybe you know somebody that can help you out. Maybe you have an opportunity to go, do a job, work for somebody, and a one-time thing. Hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna help you out, and they're willing to pay you for it. You can do some side jobs. You can do like Rebecca does, where she starts this business where she's selling other people's products. There's so many different options out there that it really irks me to hear people use language that is quitting, is giving up. Like, I'll never have this because, or it's too expensive for me. Because as soon as you say those things, it registers in your subconscious. Because now you just told your subconscious, I'll never have the money for that. And so your subconscious says, all right, I'm going to figure out how to make that happen for them. I'm going to figure out how to make it so they don't ever have any money, then, and whatever they're saying is true. This is what our subconscious does. If I start saying positive things in my life and start projecting positivity and projecting the things that I want, my subconscious will then figure out how to make this projection real. This is the way our minds work. This is the way the mind works. This is why the law of attraction works. Because when you project positive things out there, it tends to reflect back, and your mind will start figuring out how to do it. And a lot of this stuff just happens subconsciously. That's why, for many of the very successful people, it just looks like it comes so easy to them. And it's not, it might seem like magic, and some people might say it is magic, but I would venture to say a lot of it is the mindset. It's the way that you think. Hey, would you grab my water over there, please? So when you guys are ready for the next step, you're ready to change your life, we do offer their consultations. And in order to schedule the consultations on Facebook, we have those links up in, oh man, Instagram's not pasting. We have the links up in the post here. There's a link for a free consultation, and those are booking out until like January or February. And then we have our expedited consultation where you can get that next week. And that'll be with myself or Kale. And the procedures that we're scheduling into now is in mid-December. So you can actually get the procedure faster than you can get a free consultation. And obviously the reason why the free consultations are booked out so far is because there's a lot of people. We have a lot of people that are just like tire kickers. They just want price, and so they ask for this free consultation. We give them the price, and then they disappear and they go somewhere else and they go compare it to other people. That's cool. I'm not really in any rush to work with those people because I know that they're not really serious. The serious individuals pay for the consultation, they pay for the procedure, and they get it done, and they live their life. That's the way it works. It happens fairly quickly. All this stuff happens quickly. The procedures, I work quick. It's very quick. Like, it's amazing how it might take you, decades to put that belly on, and in a matter of an hour or two, we can take it away. It's really phenomenal that that's possible.
On Instagram, I just posted the link to the free consultation and the expedited consultation.
Okay.
Make sure you remind them that they're going to have to copy and paste those.
Yes. Okay, so on Instagram, you have to copy and paste the link and then put that in the toolbar, and that will allow you to schedule the consultation and upload the photos. Try and keep it easy. All right, we got people following Stacy. That's awesome. Okay, question. I'm from, was it Eriva69? I'm more concerned about my stomach, but I want more breast. Can fat transfer do that? Can you do liposuction on chin and arms and stomach at the same time? Okay, so you're talking about doing like full body type stuff, and there's limitations to what we can do. The limitations are, they give restrictions on the amount of fat that we're supposed to remove in one procedure. But then the more important restriction that I follow is the amount of numbing fluid that we can utilize during one procedure. The amount of numbing fluid is the lidocaine, and lidocaine becomes toxic. It's based off of your body weight. We can calculate it prior to the procedure, and if we use too much lidocaine, it becomes toxic and cause heart attacks, seizures, all kinds of bad stuff that you don't want. So in order to avoid the consequences of toxic lidocaine, we break it down into smaller procedures in order to maximize the amount of fat out of that area while keeping the amount of numbing fluid that we utilize to a reduced level. So first, Iriva 69, get the consultation. I don't know what you look like. You could be 500 pounds for all I know, which that totally changes everything. Or you could be, 105 pounds, which changes everything as well. So we need to do the consultation. We need to see pictures of you, and we'll give the recommendations then. Anything that I tell you now is just generic. It'll fit the most people, but it's not going to be specific to you. Okay, do you guys allow us to record as much as we can for like a YT journey documentation? I don't know how to answer that. Not everybody does that. We do obviously have some individuals that we record, and but that's not the normal patient. We can take pictures. We can get some short footage perhaps. Depending. Look, I'm flexible and I'll do whatever. But if it's going to slow us down, if it's going to challenge us, it's going to cause something that would affect the outcome for you, then we're probably not going to do it. Whenever we do these videos, it's a big production. It's a lot bigger than obviously than you guys see. All the behind the scenes stuff. We require other people to help us out holding cameras, and it also clogs the room. And the focus is less on you and more on the recording, which I don't want that to be the case. So as long as we can keep things within reason and do things the right way and keep everything safe for you, then that's really what I'm looking to achieve. Okay, what are the requirements for lipo on the belly, BMI requirements? Okay, so we don't have any BMI requirements. So you can see we have large individuals that their bellies go away. So I'm sure we can help you out. And obviously, if you're asking about BMI restrictions, you've been turned down elsewhere. So we don't turn people down for being too big. We suck fat for a living. So if you have more fat, then we like it, right? We call you a great customer, but we can help you. So that's the key. We're not turning people away just because you're bigger. We suck fat for a living, so we can suck more fat. It's just it's a good thing. And interestingly enough, the studies showed that the risk of taking out too much fat it's more so a risk or a percentage of the body. So for example, if you are 100 pounds, removing whatever 2 or 3 liters is a larger percentage of your body than removing 2 or 3 liters from someone that's 200 pounds or twice the weight. It's a smaller percentage when you're larger. So therefore, it's been deduced that larger individuals, you can remove larger amounts of fat and it's still safe. So with that said, we do very large patients. We do very large procedures. We suck out a ton of fat and it makes a huge dramatic change. Now, the larger procedures that we do, it increases everything in the risk factors. So the risks are higher. So you have to be aware of that. Taking out more fat, it's going to be more likely that you're going to experience symptoms like lightheadedness and dizziness after the procedure. But if you drink plenty of water, it'll alleviate a lot of those symptoms. The other issues larger individuals have is they tend to have more issues with infections. They tend to have more issues with irregularities. The garments themselves don't tend to fit them properly. So when the garments don't fit properly, they could cause irregularities or folds or ridges on the skin. And the garments themselves, they weren't made for larger individuals. So when we put them on, they tend to bind up in different areas, which could cause irregularities. It could cause skin irritations or skin necrosis or death of the skin. So there's things as a larger individual that you have to take into account. And when you take that into account, it's when you identify a risk, and this isn't in any procedures, when you identify a potential risk, there's things that we can do to reduce the risk. And at my shape, we've been doing this for a long time, and we work really hard to make this as safe as possible. And because we've done what we've done, we have we've made mistakes and then fixed them. And so now at this point, I mean, we avoid mistakes by doing things the right way. I created specific habits that we do as an office, like the whole office. We do specific habits to keep things safer. There's just like little things that we do, like little techniques that I do with the procedure to make it safer. I have recommendations afterwards that make it easier for the patients. I mean, look, we've done this a lot. We've had a lot of issues. So we are good at solving problems and good at helping you with whatever issues you may have. And more so, it's about educating the individuals to help them avoid the problems. And if you can avoid the problems, you just don't have them. And that's the best. Okay, do you have financing? So we have a finance company that we deal with. We are associated with. We're not associated with them, but we offer their services. So if you're interested in financing, there's the information is on our website, the finance page. Also, after you get your consultation, we will send you the information for financing. It's included in the quote that we send you. But we also have a layaway type program where you can make monthly payments, and then after I think it's about 9 months, we go ahead and move forward with the procedure as long as you're paid up in full. Okay. Yeah, silent lady. So some of these ladies that are going live, they're not going live and holding the phone the whole time. I mean, it would really be very tiresome if you're sitting there trying to hold your phone like this, doing a selfie video throughout the whole procedure. That just doesn't work well. And you have, as a patient, you really need to focus on yourself. So what we've done in the past for those individuals that want to share, some type of video content, the procedure is a lot of the same thing over and over and over. So if we get a short video of 2-3 minutes, it'll show the basic idea of what we are doing, and maybe we can get short clips, as we're changing positions. So but watching a 2-hour video of someone getting liposuction is usually not that much fun. It's the same thing over and over and over, but it's kind of fun to see the basics, the beginnings, and the middle, the end. Just kind of see how the process works. Okay, Dominic. Okay, what if you just want a BBL and still have a hanging belly? Is there a specific procedure for just a BBL? I'm not sure I understand your question. In order to do a BBL, so BBL is Brazilian butt lift. That's a term that's utilized for the procedure of fat transfer. So we transfer fat from one area and put it into the butt, and that's considered a BBL. So in order to do a BBL, we have to take the fat from somewhere. Now, my recommendations at minimum is to take the surrounding fat around the butt. And when we do that, it allows me to carve out the shape of the butt. So the areas that I'm talking would be like the lower back, the love handles, and the hips. So you can see up in this picture here, all the stuff surrounding the waistline. We take that away and it cinches the waist in, and then it shapes the butt. So you can see the arches that we create with the butt, the shape. And once we take that fat away, so the liposuction part is just as big of a part of the fat transfer as the actual transferring of the fat. If we don't shape the butt, just adding the volume to the butt will not look good. It will not look good. So there are some individuals that, imagine this patient here, if we only took fat off the front of the belly and didn't do the liposuction, she wouldn't have a waistline. She would have a square waist and a bigger butt that's just square. So it's so important to do the liposuction in the right places in order to get the best possible results. So, do these things right. A lot of people come to me and they're so money conscious that they are willing to sacrifice the results in order to save money. And when you do that, it's like what's the point in spending any money if you're going to get crappy results? It just doesn't, to me it doesn't make sense. But everybody's different, right? Huh. Rebecca's saying that Facebook has some new updates that if you only write a few words, it doesn't show up on the lives. Huh, that's weird. So is that, probably people are just like doing a couple words or some emojis or something. Okay, Raina Rays. I just got here. I'm excited. I just sent my pictures and payment for my consultation this Monday. I'm so excited. That's awesome. We can definitely help out. And it's a quick, easy process. And once we get you in for the procedure, I mean, everything goes so smooth in most cases. I've been doing this for so long. It's quick, it's easy. You're in, you're out. Results. It's awesome. Rebecca says, "Yeah, I hate the scale." Okay, do you do local anesthesia or intravenous? Well, nobody does intravenous for liposuction, but intravenous, maybe you're talking about general anesthesia. And no, all we do is local anesthesia. So we numb only the area that we're treating. So the medication does not circulate systemically, which means that we eliminate all of the systemic side effects of the medication. It's a big deal, big deal. Those of you who are not aware, general anesthesia is very, very risky, and most major complications with surgeries occur because of the general anesthesia. In fact, Michael Jackson died from an overdose of propofol. Propofol is the everyday medication that they give you. Every single patient gets it when they do general anesthesia. Now, when you take propofol stops your breathing. That's why Michael Jackson died, because he took this medication but didn't have a tube down his throat or a breathing machine. So in surgery, they give you propofol, they inject it into your veins, and then all of a sudden it makes it so you lose consciousness. And when you lose consciousness, you stop breathing. When you stop breathing, we have to breathe for you. So they'll put a tube down your throat. They call it that intubation. And they put a tube down your throat, and then they put all these monitors, so they're monitoring your heart and making sure everything's working properly. But there's a lot of risks involved in general anesthesia, and it's just not safe. So anytime you can avoid general anesthesia, you definitely want to do that. As you get older, at some point you're probably going to require some type of surgery that requires general anesthesia. So our bodies, they don't take, most people's bodies don't take well to the medications that they use with general anesthesia. Many individuals will experience side effects for months, if not years, after the general anesthesia, while others, it's a piece of cake, it's no problem. They just fall asleep, wake up, and they're good. But if you're not that lucky individual that doesn't have any side effects, then you're going to be dealing. Okay, where are you located? We're in the Las Vegas area. Okay. My booty arch is my favorite part. It's all, dude, Rebecca, that's always my favorite. It's seriously like creating those butts, the taking out the lower back. When I figured it out that I needed to be taking that fat in the lower back, because I didn't do that for a long time. And it wasn't actually until I started doing, really doing a lot more of the fat transfer to the butt, when I realized that, when I started doing the fat transfer, I realized that the shape was misshapen because of that fat pad in the lower back. And so that's when I started taking that away, when I did the fat transfer. But then I realized that when I took that fat pad away, it made the butt pop out. And when it makes the butt pop out, everybody should do it then, right? Even those who don't necessarily need the fat transfer, we can define the butt and make it appear that it's popping out, and it has the illusion that it's bigger and fuller and more shaped, simply by taking that fat in that lower back. So that's my favorite part. I love that part where you take that fat in the lower back, the arch of the back. Janice says, I don't want to go to Tijuana, Mexico. Yeah, I know. There's lots of people that go down there. And I don't like to talk bad, but in Mexico, I know that I love Mexico. I was just down there vacationing, but they don't look. You got to start asking the right questions. So why do San Diego doctors go across the border to Tijuana to do their practices? Why is that? Why would you think? And the answer is quite simple. It's the money. It's always the money. You chase the money, and then like this is what these doctors do. When they go over to Mexico, there's less regulations. They don't have to have the same standard of care, which means that the cost for them is significantly less. And if the cost for them is significantly less, their profit is significantly higher. So they ask you to go down to Mexico, and even there's San Diego surgeons that go down there, and theoretically they're United States doctors, but they're going to Mexico for a reason, and the reason sucks. It's to save them money, and it's because they have less restrictions, which is bad for you. And what happens is because they don't have the same standard of care, the potential for bad things to happen is significantly higher. They don't restrict. They don't have the limitations. They don't abide by the limitations of removing not too much fat. So that's why you go down to Mexico, and they'll do full body liposuction for you there. They're like, just come down here, and it's only gonna be $5,000. Then we'll do lipo in your entire body, and then we'll transfer it to your fat just for fun. Well, that's when bad shit happens. So, don't be that person that goes and spends less somewhere else and then gets bad results, and then you have to spend double to get it fixed. That sucks. I hate seeing when people do that. But if that's you, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help solve your problems. I'm happy to help make things better. Okay. Janice says, I will go in physically to your office. I'm interested in tummy. So we're not doing in-house consultations unless we absolutely have to, which is very, very, very rare. So I would suggest start with the consultation, the virtual consultation where you send us pictures. Most things can be addressed by pictures. Like literally, I've done this thousands and thousands of times. There's nothing that you have that I haven't seen before. It's very rare that I see things new nowadays. It's like people have the same shapes. I've seen this stuff over and over and over, and I know what the solution is, and I can do this with my eyes closed. So you don't necessarily have to come in. Now, on rare occasions, I will suggest that you come in, or if you are local and you really want to come in to have me explain things better, that's fine. We can accommodate, but it's not as standard. And standard would be the virtual consultations. Okay, how long would you say the total healing process is for the procedure itself? Total healing process, your body will continue to change for well over a year. With that said, the bulk of the healing takes place in the first few months, and with that said, even the first few weeks, where the bulk of the healing takes place. So initially, you're going to be swollen, you're going to be sore, you're going to be bruised. The swelling and bruising will go away, in a month, 2 months, maybe a little bit longer. You may have some residual swelling and some inflamed scar tissue and things of that nature, some fibrosis tissue. That's the kind of stuff that takes a lot longer to go away. And so that's why the whole healing process is, upwards of a year, sometimes longer. All the scar tissue takes time to mature. So your body over time will, we call it remodeling. In that, it's just like when you're remodeling a house. In your body, your tissue, your body has these chemicals that go and they kind of eat away. They're called osteoclasts. They eat away at the tissue that we don't want, and then they lay down new tissue. These cells called osteoblasts, so they create new tissue. So they eat away the bad stuff that doesn't belong there. Then they lay new tissue to recreate, and it's remodeling constantly until eventually everything stabilizes. But I personally noticed when I had my procedure that the results continue to improve for over a year. And if you pay attention, you'll notice too. Okay, it looked like I went through a weight loss procedure, but in fact, all lipo and healthy choices. That's awesome. We are bombarded in our society with all these different choices and different options and information, right? We're bombarded with stuff, but when you find out that there are different choices, it really expands your potential of what you believe is possible. And so seeing some of these individuals, talking to them, communicating with them about what was possible for them expands your horizons, and it makes you realize what is potentially possible for you. Because if it's possible for these people, maybe it's possible for you. And if you believe it's possible and you want to take the risk, then that's when the next step is. And when you take the next step, then you start getting the results. But you have to start changing your lifestyle. Change the lifestyle now. You already know you need to lose weight, right? You already know. So change your lifestyle now. Get those habits intact. Get the process going where you're starting to lose weight. Come get the liposuction. Get all that fat sucked out, and then you get results quick. You get these hourglass figure. You get these shapes. You get that quick. Then you got to continue on and protect that investment. Rebecca says her boobs and butt look huge in comparison to my small waist. It's proportions. We're trying to create proportions. But at least, when you're fuller in the midsection, the proportions are off. So if you're just as wide here as you are up top, as you are down below, if you're straight up and down, you're a box. And I like to, use this visual of your SpongeBob SquarePants. And, if you have that shape, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And don't be offended. It just is what it is. And the cool thing is that we can change that. We take those SpongeBob SquarePants and create those hourglass figure, those amazing shapes, those Jessica Rabbit shapes, those Coke bottle shapes. Can't wait to see you, Raina. Rebecca, you'd watch our kids. I wish. Okay. Raina says she's going to do it. Taxis, that's creative, right? If you know you're going to get money back from taxes, it's a good choice. Lots of people do that. Hell, nowadays, the government's sending you checks, right? I know, I like, you look at my check account and all of a sudden, whoa, I got $500 from the government. Oh yeah, it's because I got a couple kids, right? They're just sending us money. It's like, it's not even mailbox money anymore. It's just the money goes straight to your account. Okay. Monica says she just booked her procedure. Super excited. Yeah, it's super cool. And when you're part of the private Facebook group, you can see these individuals. They keep, they'll keep sharing every week. We do procedures. You got more people that pop on there, and they pop on. They start sharing their story. You start seeing the results. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I definitely recommend getting on the private Facebook group. Leticia, que bonita trabajo revisión. Okay, I don't speak Spanish, so I'm just messing. Okay, do you guys do inner thighs? Raina, we do every part of the body where you have fat. I've done, it's very rare, but I've done forearms. We do calves and ankles. We do thighs. We do abdomen. We do arms. We do breasts. We do butt. We do chest. We do chin. We do buffalo hump on the back here. Wherever you have fat, we'll suck it out. So if you have a problem, look, there's obviously very common areas that we do, which is obviously the most that we do the abdomen. But I like doing rare stuff because I'm good at what I do, and I like the challenge because sometimes I get tired of doing exactly the same thing over and over and over. I like a little challenge. I like something to keep me on my toes. Okay. Oh yeah, so Rebecca was saying with with general anesthesia, like imagine having a tube down your throat, and then they have to turn you. So with liposuction, we turn you from side to side onto your stomach, and when you do general anesthesia, that's just not possible. It's not. So what these doctors do is they'll roll you up on your side a little bit, roll you up on this side a little bit, so they can kind of sweep behind you, but they don't do a good job. I promise you, it's a crappy job. When they do general anesthesia, it's not good. Um, and if they do turn you with general anesthesia, like it's a huge process. It takes a half hour, 45 minutes just to flip the person over. And why does it take so long? Is because when they do in the hospital in the operating room, they use all these like sterile drapes and it's crazy how much waste they have. And there's not even really a real reason why they do this stuff. But it's the process that has been adopted and is standard for the operating room. It's the way they do things. It's so wasteful. And you realize what you're like, why was it so expensive for surgery? From my understanding, it's about $100 a minute for surgery. $100 a minute, and it's because of all the stupid stuff that they do. In private practice is way better. I hate going into hospitals. They're so wasteful. Okay, do you have any available space soon in December? And call our office if you're ready to schedule. They can tell you about the schedule. I don't know what the schedule is. I just show up and suck fat. Okay, how do people do flying home after the procedure? So Chelsea, it's not easy. It's a challenge. However, if you're not getting fat transfer, it's not that difficult. I recommend waiting 48 hours at minimum. You might want to wait a little bit longer. After these procedures, you're gonna be draining a bunch of fluids. So flying when you're draining fluids, not fun. If you do fat transfer, it's a bit more challenging because you're not supposed to sit on the butt. So that's an issue, obviously, and there are ways. We're going to give you a specific pillow where you can sit on the pillow and the pressure is on your thighs and your butt hangs out the back. Makes it a little bit easier. And then I recommend getting up and standing, by the bathroom, and just keeping the flight attendants busy, keep them distracted, and stay off the butt as much as you can. Okay, is there a limit of how much you can take out? Selena, so yes, there's a limit of how much I can take out. However, the procedures that we schedule, I don't stop. So I try to, what's the word I'm looking for? I try to create the procedure that we can maximize, get as much fat out of there and do the job that we're getting these kind of results. So, the amount of fat that we remove is less of a limit to me than the amount of numbing fluid that's restricting us. So, obviously the people that are asking these questions are larger individuals and they're scared. They're worried that they're not going to get enough fat out to make a difference. I have people asking me that all the time, but there's not a single person that you see up here that a larger individual that you don't see a difference. It's the larger individuals that you see a bigger, more dramatic change because we get so much fat out. So, we're going to make a difference. There's not a single person that leaves our office that doesn't notice a difference. Now, randomly, I'll have patients call me years afterwards. I'm like, I don't notice a difference. I look the same as I did before. Then you start asking questions and they gained like 20 or 30 pounds. And that's not my fault. That's not my fault. I take the fat out the day of the procedure. Then afterwards, you go and live your life. And you either live your life a good life or you live a bad life. And if you live a bad life, then you're going to recreate the same problems that you had before, and you'll be right in the same boat. And that's not my problem anymore. That's your problem. It's always going to be your problem. So when you're ready to change, you have to change. So step up to this challenge and start changing now. Then get these procedures, and it's like it's a whirlwind. It happens really fast. It can happen really fast. What's up, Jackie? All right. I'm out of breath. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'm going to be back, I think, next week. Actually, I'm going to be on vacation next week, so I may not be around. Kale may be in here. So guys got to treat him right, ask him good questions. So I appreciate you jumping on here. And your next step, if you're ready to make the change, is to get your consultation. And to get your consultation on Facebook, you're going to click on the link up above. We have our free option which you can schedule that out into January, February, or you can get an expedited option. It's $100, and we can get you in, within a week. And that consultation will be with myself or Kale. That's going to be the serious individuals. Those people are ready to move quickly. And we're booking our procedures out into mid-December at this point. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back again.